So I just wanted to very briefly welcome everyone who was able to join. I appreciate how busy you are all currently, especially during such a busy season. We will take, I would say, about 45, 50 minutes, hopefully, to just go through a little bit of an introduction, but more like best practices with Knowland, and also our new partnership and the preferred pricing agreement and MSA that we have signed globally. But I wanted to just briefly also introduce myself, because in case you would like to, of course, speak after this call in more detail about the potential subscription, then I will be able to help you. And I'm looking after your kind of EMEA and APAC property side. And then I have a colleague, Laura, in the US who is supporting the hotels in the Americas. But I also have a colleague of mine who is unfortunately not able to join because she's on PTO. Her name is Julia, and she is the customer success manager for all your properties who are currently subscribers, both in EMEA as well as in APAC. Really, it's the two of us who you would mainly interact with. So in case you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And we work very closely together. So even if Julia is not around, I can help. And like I mentioned earlier, if you would like to submit any questions or even, stop the presentation, feel free to do so. This is a session for you, so we can always focus on questions that are more important than what I prepared to show you today, maybe. In terms of Knowland, because maybe some of you are new, I know that there are quite a few customers on the call, but in case you are new to what Knowland is, we are a MICE market intelligence platform operating for 20 plus years now globally, and across every region, really. We've been on hold in Europe since 2020. At the pandemic, we had to stop collection in Europe, and this is something that we are now reactivating multiple markets this year, and then we try to scale it quite rapidly next year. So that's why I'm glad to, of course, have some of you on the call, maybe from London or Paris. And there will be more markets to follow. But what we do is we capture actualized meetings and events data, and we make it available either just for your market, for your region, or globally, subject to what level of information you require and how big your hotel is. And you can, of course, see competitive information, you can see market trends. So a lot of different details that we will cover today. And some of you might have heard us under a different name as HIS. You have also seen maybe that there is a lot of Sendine logo. So we've been recently acquired by Sendine, but the product stays and remains Knowland. That's how everyone knows us globally. And we work with you for a while, of course, with some of you for many years now. But what is great really this year is that we finally also have, a global preferred pricing agreement for all the Fairmont and Raffles hotels, like I mentioned earlier. And again, for anyone who is new, what we really help with, these are some of the main pillars of our product. So we provide what I would say our base line is kind of the competitive intelligence, what used to be the old-fashioned reader board service. So we still have, of course, competitive information that you can look at, but the system evolved over the years when it was only an Excel spreadsheet with all your competitors, meetings and events that we captured manually. And we now also have market level intelligence, market trends, segmentation trends, and segmentation analysis. You also have benchmarking capability in the tool, and a lot of account level intelligence, which I would say is probably one of the biggest differentiators when it comes to our data, that you are able to also understand an account's booking behavior in your market, in your region, or globally. Which can help you hopefully to, qualify accounts better, or maybe strategize better around, how to manage a key account or how to attract a prospect account. And the latest advancement that we have just introduced in March, and I will spend a bit of time on showing this to you in the platform, is our AI-powered search. The AI-powered search is actually a functionality that we had for a long time, like a custom reporting capability, where you had to complete a lot of different criteria or tabs to run a report that was meaningful to you. So maybe you had a need date and you were looking for, events that can fill that need period, accounts that have events during those times. So you could then run a search in Knowland, but now you can tell the system to run that search for you, just as you would use ChatGPT or any other AI-driven platforms, where you can just use a prompt and then, ask the system to show you the results. So this is how the new search capability functions, and I will show that to you today. Like we already mentioned about the MSA, it is available, and we also have a promotion that is currently running until the end of April. I know it's very short notice, but anyway, if any of you are interested, we can maybe extend it a little bit further if you show any interest of joining if you are new to Knowland. And we also, of course, offer the capability for hotels who are on an existing contract to move onto the MSA, onto the preferred pricing agreement. So again, whether you are a new hotel who is interested or an existing property, feel free to reach out and I can help you with the process. I'm not sure if there is anything, Ben or Matthew, that you would like to mention, or shall I just carry on?
I mean, nothing specific at this stage, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, but thank you for conducting the webinars, Erica, and we're very pleased to be continuing to partner with Knowland Sendine.
Thank you. So what I will just do quickly now, explain you the next 40 minutes. So we will cover, like I said, the AI-powered search, but also the best practice tips that we usually share with hotels. Now, of course, that can be different, subject to your situation, subject to your goals, or maybe, very specific market circumstances. So in all case, after this training, which is of course not tailored to any unique needs, feel free to reach out to us, and Julia or me, we are happy to do a training specifically with your team once we understand a little bit more about your situation. Then we can guide you a bit better as well on, what parts of the system can help you in this moment of time when you might have a specific requirement. And lastly, I will also cover a little bit about the pilots. Like I said, we are returning to Europe, but we are returning with a pilot program. So I will explain that briefly. And of course, if you have any questions, either stop during the session, I'm happy to answer them on the fly, or we can also discuss them at the end. So what I will do, I jump into the platform, and just let me quickly stop the screen share so that I can open it up, and then I reshare back. So I'm wondering if there are any questions, but I can't see any at the moment. So feel free to let me know if you have any while I reshare my screen with the platform. Great. Can you see my screen or not yet?
No.
Okay, let me
I
try
lost
it again.
Yeah. I will let you know if there is any question, but no, so far, yeah,
Perfect.
now it's coming back. Yes, now we can see it.
Great. So many of you know the platform already. Of course, you are using it regularly. But for any of you who is new and maybe haven't seen it for a long time, this is the current look and feel and user experience. It is going to change, I have to say. We had a major project last year. So probably by the end of the year, there will be more changes coming, but that is all just about, the look and feel. We are trying to make it more simple and easier to kind of follow and more intuitive. But in terms of the main home screen, you might also find that some of you have potentially slightly different look and feel. That's also normal because we customize the environment to the user and to the organization. So it's my demo environment, what we are working with today. So it looks a little bit different, and it also set for global data. Today I will use a lot data from Dubai. It's just by chance, not for any specific reason. But of course, if you would like to see any other market, let me know and I can just quickly change the view. So what I would like to really focus on, like I mentioned earlier, is the new search capability. The search function was always available in Knowland, which was really, I would say, the strengths of the platform, that you were able to find accounts or certain type of events that were really meaningful to you based on your criterias. That search capability used to sit in, and still sits in, accounts and events and under new custom search. And the reason I will show this to you still today, because it can give you a bit of an idea, especially if you haven't used it before, maybe you are new to the system, what kind of filters you can use when you are building a prompt in our new AI-powered search. So just to kind of cover these 3 tabs here, on the booking attributes, you can see everything related to an event. So if you would like to query the system about data of a specific quarter, because maybe you still would like to find some business for Q3, and you really want to focus on the last maybe years or your 2 years, you can of course choose any of these options here, and you can then decide if you want to add further filters, like the size of the events. Maybe if you say that I'm really okay with my ballroom, it is full, but I still have some gaps and I would like to of course find some opportunities in maybe smaller events, then you can add maybe of course a maximum of 50 guests for that particular search. You see here there are even options to look at single or multi-day events, again subject to whether you want to find something with rooms or without. And what is very commonly used is the keyword search, because it allows you to really zoom in into something specific that would be hard to just pick up from this filter. So what if you are looking for even a specific time of the year when there are certain celebrations? So what if you are looking for iftar events? What if you are looking for Christmas? Whatever it might be. Or you just ask the system to show you only dinners. So the keywords can be anything that would sit within the booking post test, so the signage of the event. So this is why you can be really creative. The signage names are sometimes very strange, sometimes very straightforward, but if you are looking for annual events, of course, put in annual into the keyword search. And on the next 2 tabs, the second one will allow you to add filtering for the actual hotels or the comp set or the market that you would like to find these events in. So if you would like to just focus on the comp set, then you can pick up any comp set that is available already in your database. Mine, as you can see, are very much driven by a market. They are not very meaningful. For you, it could be, of course, your STR comp sets. Maybe you would create then also MICE or corporate specific comp sets, and that is something that we recommend, of course. We also recommend to have multiple. You don't have really limitations as such. So as long as they are meaningful, just build them and use them. And then of course you can also run a report based on the market, like I said. So what if I pick up Dubai as a whole? I can also go on sub-market level, or I can just filter here further at the bottom where you have all the STR attributes. And it allows you as well to just zoom in into certain categories. So what if I just want to really focus into luxury and maybe upper upscale? This is also something we recommend. We would always pick your chain scale, and one below or one above. It is always helpful to kind of broaden your reach a little bit if you need maybe more options. But of course, if you want to keep it very, relevant and very targeted, then just use your own chain scale. You see here location type, brand group, market category. So like I said, you can add as many filters as you like. And then the last tab is where you would also be able to say to the system, whether you want to run this search on every single segment, or maybe you are only in charge of corporate, so you can just highlight the corporate segment. And if you are even deployed, within the team in certain way that you are only looking after consulting and maybe, any other industry, you can just run the reports for that. So this way you get a very relevant list. So you saw how long it took me. Of course, it would be faster if I'm not talking over it and explaining. So of course, it's not too bad to build a report like that. You can then save it, of course, if you want to use it again. And also you can return back to it and maybe change only one filter to run a slightly different report. Maybe instead of consulting, you choose, entertainment media. So you can do that as well. But otherwise, sorry.
What is interesting also is the fact that you have the estimate number of account that you will have per filter. So you have an idea of how, if you need to narrow down the search or not. Yeah.
That's true, exactly. So I can.
There is a question in the chat. We will answer later.
Yes.
But this is from Victoria. She's asking, where do Knowland get the market intelligence from? Do hotel have to share what business they have had?
That's correct. So we capture data today through the partner properties, whether the hotel is subscriber or not. It depends on chain level agreements as well. So we gather the data from the sales and catering systems. With most systems, we either have a data feed available, so it's very seamless. With other systems, we use canned reports on a weekly basis that get sent to us, and then it gets automated through a bot. So for everything, that is out there, we have a solution, whether it's semi-automated or fully automated. So there isn't really a lot of human interaction with the data. This is the biggest change, I would say, compared to pre-COVID, when globally we were only capturing information by visiting the hotels and taking images. We still do that with limited number of hotels and also for audit purposes. So we still have a reader, at least one or two in every market, but not to capture majority of the data. So currently globally, over 80% of our data is captured through these sales and catering feeds or automations. And yes, every subscriber hotel provides data. But like I said, we also have chain-wide agreements globally where sometimes the hotel doesn't even have to be a customer or a subscriber on property level. We do get their data because corporate is sharing it with us. And we also have above property access for those corporates. So that is the reason, or the GSO team, that's why they are happy to share the information. So I hope that answered the question. So everything comes from the sales and catering system. And what we capture is data protection proof. So no matter what, if it's GDPR, we don't, transact any GDPR relevant data. We don't transact contacts. We don't capture contacts or revenue. The information that we get from the systems is limited to what we would be able to capture on the reader boards. So it's still the booking post test, the timing of the event, the date, of course, the account, and also, of course, we say how big the event was and all the functions, but that is all. And I will show that to you in a minute, actually, how it looks like. So I hope that answered the question, but let me know if you have any queries on what I just explained.
No, maybe we can continue on the search and the examples, and maybe we will touch base later on the submission.
Yes, perfect. Yeah. So in terms of this search, what I showed, and I will go back to it, of course, so that we have a look at what Ben mentioned as well about the number of results, which I think is a very good point to mention. You can run this search now also with the AI powered search. And the way you access that is through our main search box, which is here on the right-hand side. You can either search an account, you can search a property. So what if you want to just check out one of the competitors in general? What if you are looking for an account because maybe it's your key account and you want to understand, of course, what information we have on them. And then this is the AI custom search where, of course, you usually start if you are looking for more specific leads. And you see this prompt here. So that kind of gives you an idea of how you can search. But of course, you can go very detailed. So you could start typing in what we tried just earlier. So what if I'm looking for Q3 events up to 50 guests in, let's say, Dubai in Q3 2024. I think it was dinner, so I might pop in dinner events. And I actually chose consulting as a segment, I believe. So Q3 dinner events up to 50 guests in Dubai in Q3 2024 in consulting. So of course, you don't have to worry too much about how you type. The system understands a lot of different ways and verbiage used. So if you say delegates, it will of course understand that and so on. And it will build that report that we've just done earlier as well. So now we have 80 accounts that are matching the criteria. And they had in total 157 bookings. So that would be, again, a different way of searching compared to what I've just done earlier. What you see on the left-hand side here is the filters that the prompt applied to the data based on what I typed in. So of course, if you want to get rid of any of them, you just untick the tick. You can also edit this from here with the pencil. So you can also edit it on the top here, and it will actually bring up the form that we were working on earlier. So this is why I thought I'd show you how the two ties in together, because we didn't just switch off the form to migrate over to this new functionality, because a lot of our users amongst you as well are using currently the old way of searching. But of course, you can also rely more now on the AI-powered search. And what we saw in the first months of usage, because it launched mid-March, that majority of our customers moved over and started using it. So we have far more searches being done on the AI-powered search rather than the search form. I think it just makes it easier for everyone, or quicker as well. So now you have the list of accounts. And of course, if you want to fine tune, because 8 is still too broad, you can go back in, like I said, and edit this search again, maybe add more criteria to it. You see what the system applied automatically based on what I typed in. But otherwise, you can, of course, just use the data as it was and just review the results. And, if you want to investigate further, maybe into any of the accounts like BNI, for example, you want to understand which hotels they went to. I mean, it was mainly events at the Fairmont or the JW, or you can see, of course, other accounts here as well and check, where they went. If you would like to learn more about an account, what you can also do is, of course, go into the account profile page. And here is the list of results that we got because of the search we run. So this is already filtered. But what if you just want to understand more about Merck training? You can come into this whole page here, which shows every single event that we captured from them. And this is the level of detail that I mentioned earlier, how we gather data and also what you have access to. You will see the booking process. So as it was in Delphi, in Opera, tracked, under the event as the actual booking process. Then you see how many days the event was for, where it took place, and then of course the functions, so you understand roughly what type of event it was and what kind of needs it had, and then the number of attendees. So this is really the list view of every single event that we track under Merck. But then if you would like to learn a little bit more on high level about their buying behavior, you can go to the booking analysis page. And I do recommend to use this page, even with existing, key accounts, or, just look up one of your key accounts, look up your key prospects, or even if you receive a C-Event RFP or any other RFP from a channel, where maybe there are accounts, sending RFPs through that are not your accounts, or they are not in your, database or in your CRM, you can always check them and just see if you gather any insight before you, send your proposal to them or before you approach them. So here what you find is, based on every single event that we have ever captured from them, is their buying behavior. Do they have any seasonality, for example, when it comes to their meetings and events? And then also, do they have any preferences? So for example, if you only have Dubai market access, let's say that's your own market, you would of course straight away see which properties they book majority of their events in. when they are in Dubai and booking meetings and events. And then also, you know, whether they have any preferences for the brand group, or, you know, even if you open up here, you can see straight away, okay, they use Novotel a lot, Sofitel, so maybe not as many Fairmont and Raffles. I mean, there is still a bit of share here. So, but this is really just a quick overview. So you can, you know, qualify that account. Like I said, if it is an RFP that came through somewhere where you don't have a lot of information, this can help you to just, you know, quickly pop into the system, add the account name here in the search box, and then you can quickly see, you know, the details on them. Hopefully it can help you, you know, to even decide if it's something that you want to propose for and offer space for. So you will be able to review these tabs and make hopefully a more informed decision. And just to show you how the account search works as well, if you know you don't navigate from a report, you can type in, like I just done here, GSK or any other account name. The system will show you the options to choose from, and then you can just, you know, review the whole information like we've done earlier. So here again, my access is global. That's why you see, of course, the information presented on a global scale, which are the top markets that GSK is visiting. But here you see again, based on Dubai, and luckily, of course, you know, one of your properties is also there. High up on the list as one of the key hotels that they book into. In terms of the account page itself, what we also would like to highlight for best practice, and usually Julia is very focused on that when she does the trainings or the regular consultations with the hotels, is the alerts and the assignment. So you can actually assign an account within Knowland as well to the team members. I don't have a big team, but I could, for example, assign to Valencia, and you know, you could build out all your key accounts or key prospects that way, and that would help as well those team members to get specific information about the accounts that are assigned to them, instead of, you know, the information going to everyone. And you can also set alerts on each of the account, which I like even more, because it will allow you to choose what you would like to be alerted on. So what if, you know, GSK has an event in Dubai or in the ComSet that you choose, or maybe, you know, in the submarket. So you can again decide on that, and then the system will send for all of the accounts that you have an alert set on a weekly summary. So you will get only one email. It is not going to be, you know, 10, because you have 10 assigned accounts or 10 alerts. You will get one email per week. So even if you are traveling, you can see what your key accounts or key prospects are doing. And that is often helpful, because you can maybe find interesting information there. Maybe, you know, they booked elsewhere and you didn't know, or, you know, they never shared that RFP with you. So it's a good insight to have, because you can then at least ask them or react on that. So when it comes to the account page, and I will pause here for a second in case there are any questions, this is probably the most important part, is to, you know, set alerts, assign accounts. So we usually do that at the beginning as well. When we set up the environment for the hotels, we recommend that the team assigns the accounts according to, you know, the deployment. But of course, things are changing, and also alerts are fairly new functionality. So we only introduced them last year. So again, if you are not using it as yet, or of course, if you are new, this is something that we would recommend you to also look into. So I will pause here for a minute, just in case any questions. If not, I can move to the next part in the system. Okay.
Okay, let's see if there is any question. Guys, feel free to take the mic if you would like to ask something to Erica, or to just write it on the chat.
Good. Anyway, feel free to jump in at any time. So we did cover the AI search, and also just in general, you know, what you can see on the account page. Like I mentioned, it definitely can help you to qualify accounts before you pick up the phone or before, you send an RFP or offer rates. So we recommend even to the reactive team, if you are deployed that way, before they, send something out to check it, in case it is an account they don't know a lot about. But otherwise, I will move on to another best practice, of course, which I think is probably the most obvious one, and everyone does it. I have a feeling without us showing this, but it's the competitive intelligence. So we call it the weekly calendar. This is also a very visual format, as you can see, but this allows you to follow your ComSat or ComSats, because you can have multiple of them set up, and then you can just navigate between them and see, how the properties are doing during that week or the previous week. Today, you can see up until yesterday what happened in your ComSat hotels. The information refreshes overnight. So we only track actualized data. This is why we are also compliant when it comes to data protection, not just because we don't capture revenue, but also because we don't have any, tentative or definite bookings. It's really just actualized data that you can see. So here is this week in my select hotels that I'm following, let's say, of course, the Fairmont as well. And I can jump to last week to see the whole week data in the market. But like I mentioned earlier, I could also jump to any other market. I could go to Singapore and see, the data in Singapore. So again, it really depends on what you are interested in. This is something that you can also schedule to be auto-delivered to you on a weekly basis. So if you feel that, again, you are on the road a lot, you will not remember to log into the platform, you can come to the scheduler and just decide, which day of the week you would like to receive the automated email. I usually recommend Monday. Some people feel that, Friday might be the right day. It doesn't matter. You can really go for any. But the reason Monday is good, because sometimes the data syncs for, there are rare cases, but with certain feeds, we have sometimes a 72-hour syncing, especially if any of the events need to be queried and need to be sent to a human to verify. So Monday, usually you definitely have the full picture for previous week's data. But otherwise, when you log in, you see it anyway on the screen day by day. So I would say the weekly occasion is the minimum that we recommend, of course, for the team, or maybe even a Knowland champion if you have someone appointed in the team, which is also a good practice to have. And that person can then, of course, also check in and see if any of the events are meaningful to be highlighted to the broader team or to the assigned, account manager. But otherwise, you can also get it, like I said, weekly. And what is great about this one, that if you click on that particular icon here, which is the download icon, it downloads it not just in Excel as a list view, but also in PDF. So again, subject to your preference, you have both views of the weekly calendar. When it comes to more high-level information, you have the market snapshot. And again, it is something that I would say is very commonly used. So probably most of you who are a customer know this one. And what we can see here, usually this one runs for the last months. For me, it is just showing the first quarter data compared to same point in time last year from Dubai. Again, if I would prefer to just look into certain submarkets, I could. So I could just, even look at the Palm maybe, or look at Sheikh Zayed Road and so on. But when we look at Dubai as a whole, we can see that in the first quarter of the year, the trends were a little bit flat. So it was actually an 8% drop in the volume of events that we tracked in the market, which is not very common, maybe. I haven't seen recently too many downward trends, but there was, I'm sure, a reason, and maybe some of you know it much better than I know. But this is what we see currently. And of course, if you look at maybe a month specifically, what if we only just focus in into January? Maybe it will be a very different scenario. So let me just do that. So what if I compare again January? No, January was down as well. So what you can see as on the right-hand side is the top industries. So again, in January, compared to last year, January, which were the top 10 industries that were booking in Dubai, and how they are trending. So you can see that consulting was the #1 industry, and they were actually trending down a little bit, but travel dropped quite a bit compared to last January and so on. So again, it's nice to look into this from a best practice point of view every month. So we tend to tell customers to, come in maybe the end of the first week of the month and then run it for the previous months. Like I said, because of some syncing of the data. And then you will see exactly again how, it looks like for the previous months. But if you are doing some bigger planning and you might want to, just review your strategy, you can run this for a whole quarter or half a year or for the last year. So it's really up to you. And you can even compare against 2019, which I sometimes still do. So it's good to check. And if you want to understand which are the accounts that we're booking, for example, in technology, you can just click into the blue hyperlinks. Everything in blue is actually a hyperlink in the platform. So you can then see, the accounts that are making up the bookings from January. And you can see, where they had their events. So this was Oracle, for example, and these are the list of events they had and where they went. And if you wish to, of course, go into the Oracle account, you can open it up again. So this way, you can kind of start a little bit high level, understanding trends, maybe share it with your revenue director or share it with the GM if it's something that they would be interested in seeing on a revenue meeting. So this can also be exported, and it exports in a really nice format as well, so it's easier for them to review. So that is really the more high-level market level data. So I will pause again for a second, just in case there are any questions after we looked at the competitive intelligence, the market intel. Don't know if you have any questions. Okay, no questions. So if I go back to the main home screen, I will probably finish off here with this part of the presentation, which was more about AI-powered search and best practice tips. So we have a document as well about best practice, which kind of highlights you on I think it's 2 pages long, so it's not too long, but it highlights you the best practice tips we usually recommend in general. So I can share that with Ben and Matthew after the call, and then it can be circulated to the team, maybe with the recording. But in addition to that, like I said, of course, we can always connect on a one-on-one basis with Julia or with me, so that we can, fine-tune the best practice for your team, subject to, your requirements. And also, what you are using currently if you are already a customer. So we would then do a usage review and give you some recommendations based on that. But on the main home screen, there are a few things that I can just briefly highlight. This is the account loyalty dashboard here on the left-hand side. And when, at the beginning, I mentioned it's good to assign accounts to yourself, to the users. This is where they would also show up. So it's not just the alerts that, you can receive via email, but also any of the assigned accounts, and you can create multiple sets. So I have here a pharma set or Henry's accounts or all kinds of other sets you can create. It doesn't have to be just the, one assigned, list of accounts, and you can navigate between them, and then you can quickly check how they are doing, when it comes to their meetings and events volume. Have they had any events, at your property? Of course, we would have your data here showing if, it's a proper hotel that is set up, not like my demo environment. And then you can see if your ComSet had any additional events done in previous 90 days. So whether, they had some uptake or not, or the market or other markets. So you can see that in general, for example, AstraZeneca is trending down. It's not just maybe me not getting business, but, it's also the ComSet is trending down and other markets in general. So, and the other kind of contradicting one is GSK. They are actually doing better. So Overall, in other markets, they are down, but maybe they have a specific project, not sure, and they are doing quite a few events in my preset comset, so in Dubai. So that is a good dashboard in case, again, you want to look for efficient ways of using the system. We don't recommend to, do a lot of research. And this is also why we built AI search, so that you have to spend less time even building a query. But it's about, using some of these tools that can very quickly show you the information. So you just have to come here, quickly check if you see anything interesting, and then take an action. Or make a decision based on what you see, of course. And the other one that is quite good to use is the new to market here in the middle. This will look at the data and just give you again a snapshot overall from the market or the submarket. And you can then also look at, I recommend the last 7 days. This is something that I recommend to be used once a week by someone. This is again where we say that it's good to have a Knowland champion maybe in the team who can do some of the tasks that are more generic rather than, meaningful for everyone. And then here under new to market, you can just quickly review those accounts that have either been not active in Dubai over the last few years, or maybe they are completely new. So it can be, of course, various reasons why we call them new to the market, but it is either because they are brand new accounts starting to book events, or maybe because they've been dormant for a while and they started having again events. So, and you can just quickly check and see if any of them could be interesting for you to approach. Of course, they might not have a huge volume, but still, if it is one that maybe comes with a project, could be a good piece of business as well. And it helps you to kind of find new opportunities. And the one thing that I would like to highlight, which is not in the platform, but we just launched it, and we launch it every quarter. And it is available on our website, on socials, and of course, you can ask us as well to send it to you directly, is our trend analysis every quarter. So certain information, what you see in the system, can't be aggregated without, an analytical tool like Power BI. So we use Power BI to create some additional charts and graphs that can help you to, again, get an understanding, get an overview of market trends. It's focusing on segmentation, but the nice thing about it is that it also shows you not just the top trending industries and accounts, but also the ones that are actually emerging. So you will see the ones that are declining quite a lot quarter to quarter, and then which are the ones, those industries, those accounts that are starting to increase their event needs exponentially, but they might not have reached, a level where they would be already a key account for someone. But they probably will reach it because, they book maybe 600%, additional events year on year or quarter to quarter. So we keep an eye on those as well. And that comes out always with the quarterly report, in case you also would like to, start exploring those industries or those accounts to make, a new kind of business development approach, diversifying your portfolio, like I said. So these are the main parts of the tool, and I will pause here for a second, and we have some time for questions, of course, but I will also, after the questions, just briefly cover the London and Paris pilot opportunity. Any questions?
I don't see any questions so far on the chat. Okay. So
yeah. Good. So great. I can then maybe just mention about the London and Paris pilot. So some of you might know that already. I haven't seen actually if Fairmont Riyadh was on the call, or maybe the Doha properties, but that's how we opened some of our markets in the Middle East as well in the recent years. It's the same approach what we are introducing in Europe as we are reopening Europe, with the first market being London on the 1st of June, and then Paris follows most likely on the 1st of October, but we are still considering if we need to do it a bit earlier. So, but latest I would say 1st of October. And the program is based on a complimentary 6 months pilot, where your only commitment is to join and provide data for 6 months, but we fully service the pilot program. So you would still have a dedicated account manager who will look after the hotel, explain you, of course, in much more detail than I did now, how you can utilize the data and how it can help your team to, make more informed decisions and also, be more efficient, because that's what really we are trying to solve, is to help you to give information that guides your decision making, but also, makes you more efficient in the sense that you will know which accounts and which industries to really focus your time on, rather than just going after anything and everything. The 6 months pilot, like I said, will start in June, but we are already getting hotels on board now. We have the first partners already signed up. We are talking to everyone in London, so and we are hoping that some of your properties will also join, because it is a great opportunity, to participate without having to make any commitment. You can experience our service, our data, and at the end, if you wish to continue, you have, of course, preferential rates available, but for the pilot, there will be also additional concessions. So if any of your hotels joins on the early adopter, they will also have a special rate for the first year, because we do value the partners who start the process with us starting from the 1st of June. So if you would like to learn more about it, of course, I know I'm already in contact with some of you, scheduling time. And I will also be in London in a few weeks' time in May. So I'm happy to come by and, do a longer session for the overall team. But otherwise, it's a very simple process. You just need to let me know that you are interested. We send you a contract which governs the data protection. And usually when it comes to the actual data transfer, I believe most of your hotels are on Delphi. So that is one of our easiest ways of sharing data, but there are other ways as well how we can manage that, subject to what your requirements are. So if any questions on London or Paris, let me know, of course, offline, and I will be happy to help.
I think what we will do, Erika, is that after the session of today, we will send a summary email to all hotels, Fairmont and Raffles globally, with the recording of the sessions, with your presentation, of course, your contact, and maybe a few lines about the Paris and London pilot, so that after that, everyone, know much more about Knowland, about the solution. And thanks to the MSA agreement that we signed at the global level with Fairmont and Raffles, anyone who is interested will be able to benefit from those pricing and get in touch with you.
Thank you. Sounds great. So I think if you don't have any other questions, that is what I prepared for today. And I will send you a deck, which will include some information that you can share as well, and of course the recording. And I'm sure Laura and Natalie will be looking forward to the call later on today with the Americas team.
Thank you, Erika. And guys, if you want, if you have one last question for Erika, please feel free to take the mic or to write it in the chat. And if not, then we will close the call. Hope you understand better what Knowland is and how to use the platform, or if you are using it, how you can improve your the best practice and the search functionality, the notification,